The 20th ranked Tennessee Lady Vols come to Columbia on a business trip, needing 2 wins over the final week of the regular season to lock down a double bye in the SEC tournament. But standing in their way, the Missouri Tigers, fresh off a high-scoring rout of Florida on Sunday. With that, we say hello high atop Mizzou Arena. She's the former Tiger, Jordan Roundtree. I'm Nate Gatter. So glad to have you with us. Why is this such a big one for Tennessee? Well, Coach Kelly Harper said they haven't even looked at the NCAA tournament yet. Their goal is to secure a top 4 seed in the SEC tournament and the double bye that comes with it. There are the Lady Vols sitting in 4th, needing wins tonight and then this weekend against Auburn to secure that spot ahead of Kentucky, Alabama, and Arkansas. Big part of why Tennessee is 7-4 in the conference and beat South Carolina last week. Rennia Davis, the reigning league player of the week. Jordan, she is a terror and can score from all 3 levels.
She sure can, Nate. And she's a matchup nightmare. You can see her here posting up against smaller guards as a part of her game. Shoots the 3 ball, has the mid-range in her game. She really is a matchup nightmare, and Mizzou's going to have to be on their defensive game to get her to slow down tonight.
Tennessee has 2 different players averaging 16 points or more per game, Davis and Ray Burrell. It's Davis who's the reigning league player of the week. Robin Pingeton said even though she shot 44% from 3 in order to win that player of the week award, you got to give her something, and she's just too efficient in the paint. So if we got to give her something, it'll be the 3-pointer. Meanwhile, speaking of active and excelling in the paint, how about Asia Blackwell, a guard who is the SEC's leading rebounder in league play?
Nate, her rebounding ability is uncanny. It's pretty incredible. She's not even at 6 foot yet and rebounding with the best of them. Can shoot the 3, can post up smaller guards. Also a matchup nightmare similar to Rennia Davis. She's playing her best basketball.
Double-double in 10 out of 12 SEC games this year. That 11.3 rebounds per game you see has gone up to almost 13 per game in conference play. Of course, Missouri can also score from the outside, coming off 18 made threes in putting up 96 points against Florida in a blowout win Sunday. Asia Blackwell will jump for Missouri because LaDasia Williams, who missed that game against Florida, Missouri's leading scorer on the interior, is again at least not in the starting lineup tonight. Robin Pingeton expects she would be very limited. Missouri starts in a zone. Shannon Duffy trying to hold her own inside against Tamari Key, who has a big size advantage on the Australian. Instead, Tennessee throws it away. Turnovers have been a problem for the Lady Vols, including in their loss to Georgia on Sunday when they had 20 against only 3 assists. Here is that starting lineup for Missouri. Again, no LaDasia Williams, but Shannon Duffy filled in admirably on Sunday. Jordan, fittingly, on senior day, went for 19 points, a high in her young Missouri career.
Yeah, she had a heck of a day. Obviously, it's tough not having LaDasia Williams from a scoring and a rebounding perspective, but to Shannon's credit, she was able to stretch the defense and hit a lot of 3s from Mizzou.
3-pointer is one thing that's not really in Blackwell's game. She shot better of late, but left that one short. Davis kicks out to Burrell for 3, and Tennessee is on the board early. Tennessee is not a great 3-point shooting team. Just over 30% on the year, but Burrell can stroke it. She shoots 40% from deep.
It's not often you see Missouri come out, start of the game, and play his own defense. I'm not quite surprised, considering the length and how big Tennessee is, but that might give Tennessee some open opportunities to shoot the 3 tonight.
Block shot for Tamari Key, and Jordan Walker the other way. 5-0 early. The Lady Vols having their way. One thing Robin Pingeton said that she liked about this lineup, even without LaDasia Williams, was trying to draw the opposing team's bigs away from the basket, but even well out from the rim, Tamari Key still had the length to turn back Duffy's jumper.
A lot of times when you're that lengthy and you've got that size on you, makes up for the speed.
Blackwell inside, Davis poked it away, and Walker comes the other way. Burrell left open again. Just too strong, and the rebound to Asia Blackwell. It's her first, but will not be her last. Had 14 rebounds against Florida Sunday. She went for 21 and 14 and only played 25 minutes.
That's hard to do. That's a very efficient night for Asia.
Haley Frank led the way for Missouri Sunday with 26 points. One of the SEC's best shooters, but misses her first, and Missouri still scoreless more than 2 minutes in. Walker And the long rebound to Dembele. Missouri can run out with Troop all alone, and she's going to coast in for maybe the easiest 2 points of her career. Not somebody who gets a lot of buckets at the rim, but Troop will certainly take that for Missouri's first deuce. Burrell on the pull-up, and that's 5 early for Rae Burrell. If Missouri's going to sit in this zone, you'd have to think Rae Burrell will have to do better than the 4 for 17 she did on Sunday against Georgia, but probably will do better.
Absolutely. She's going to have a lot of opportunities, like we see there, to find the gaps in the zone and take advantage of her mid-range game.
A steal and a bucket. That's 7 in the opening 3 minutes for Rae Burrell, and Robin Pingeton needs a timeout. The visitors bouncing back from a disappointing road loss Sunday. They've got a 9-2 lead early. It's all Tennessee early in Columbia with a 9-2 lead, 3 minutes in. Nate Ganner, Jordan Roundtree back with you from Mizzou Arena. And Jordan, Missouri is probably going to need a lot of three-point shooting to win tonight. The Tigers got a lot of it Sunday against Florida, tied a school and SEC record with 18 made threes and shot 64%.
And Nate, this is certainly a fun senior day, especially for seniors Shook and Shannon. Both lit it up from 3. This is the type of offense that Missouri is used to playing. They shot the lights out like they know they're capable of doing. They're definitely going to need this tonight versus Tennessee. It's going to be a challenge to score in the paint. Obviously, Tennessee makes it hard for opponents to score in the paint with their length, and so Missouri, I'm sure, is hoping that they can come out and shoot the ball as well as they did versus Florida.
96 points in that victory over the Gators. 3 players with 20 or more for the first time since 2008, but that game went to triple overtime. It was the first time Missouri had 3 different 20-point scorers in regulation since 1995, and Shannon Duffy had 19 points on Sunday. So Missouri very nearly had 4 players score 20 or more. Haley Frank led the way with 26. Not only did those 18 threes tie a Missouri record, but they tied an SEC record, and Missouri is just about the only team to have done that in the history of the conference. You spoke about this being a more typical Missouri performance and how often the Tigers knock down threes and how big a part that is of their offense. How about the fact that in SEC history, only 4 teams have made 18 threes in a game. 3 of them are Missouri, twice in 2013, and then Sunday against Florida. The only other time was earlier this season when Mississippi State did it in a win over Troy. And keep in mind, Missouri's only been in the SEC not even a decade, so the Tigers have proven over those years that they are a 3-point shooting team to be reckoned with. Duffy left that one short, and Burrell the rebound. Stolen right back by Shook Dixon, making an impact immediately on her introduction. Blackwell wants another 3, short again. Missouri has started cold from deep, 0 for 4.
That shot right there just speaks to the confidence that Asia has in herself and her ability to shoot the 3. Shot that right over Tamari Key. Not an easy shot to get off.
Key traveled against Duffy, who, despite the fact that she's given up a lot of height, seems to be hanging in there okay for Robin Pingeton, 11th year head coach of the Tigers. And this has been a trying year for her, considering the number of close losses Missouri has had, Jordan. But certainly there's reason for Missouri to believe they can hang in there against Tennessee or just about any team in this league.
Absolutely. This would be a very different season for Missouri had they pulled out a couple of those close losses. But they have competed with the absolute best, LSU, Arkansas, Tennessee. Hopefully tonight they can compete with them and see what happens here. But certainly they're capable of competing with just about anyone.
Troop from the mid-range. Haley Troop has all 4 points for Missouri, which is probably not what the Tigers would have expected coming in, but they'll take the scoring anywhere they can get it right now. Mentioned Shook Dixon into the game. Lauren Hansen also on for Missouri. Inside touch, and Duffy strips it away from Key.
Duffy doing a great job on Key so far. Like you said, Nate, despite the height difference, she's playing smart defense. She's not fouling, going for the ball, not trying to block the shot.
Tennessee has not yet made a substitution. Kelly Harper has been playing a relatively short rotation recently. Troop with 7 to shoot. Lets it go and hits it. Haley Troop has 7 points in the opening 5 minutes. She's gone on a 5-0 run all by herself.
Haley Troop's feeling it. She has a history of playing well against Tennessee, and I wonder if that was a mindset coming into the game, that this is a team that she usually plays well against, and she'll have to be aggressive, knowing a lot of attention is going to be on Haley Frank, Shug Dixon, even Shannon Duffy from the three-point line.
Renaya Davis misses. A foul called underneath on Troop, who was trying in vain to get some kind of position on Tamari Key. Gives us a chance to meet Kelly Harper in her second year as Tennessee's head coach. Of course, a 3-time national champion in the late 90s with the Lady Vols as a player, and has done an awful lot already on Rocky Top. Would have taken them likely to the tournament last year had it not been canceled. And at the moment, according to ESPN's Charlie Cream, set up for a number 3 seed if the tournament were to start today. Davis, rebounded by Dixon, and Missouri can tie or take the lead. Dixon all the way, but missed the layup. What a move by Shug Dixon, but missed the point-blank layup. Burrell has it stripped by Duffy. She's had a good start defensively.
She has. That's the second strip she's had. She's a smart defender. She knows that she doesn't necessarily have the size or necessarily have the speed that matches Tennessee, but she's a heady player, she's a veteran player, and she knows how to get stops, she knows how to make plays.
Pass was just a little late to get to Frank, but she goes by Kishkitawa before she's fouled on the drive. Foul goes against Kishkitawa, only the second against Tennessee. Haley Frank had those 26 points Sunday against Florida. When Missouri can get her open enough that she's getting the 15 shots she got against Florida, not only does that set her up to score, but I would think it's a good barometer of how Missouri's offense is moving overall in the space that they're able to create.
Absolutely. They know that it's a smart team. It's a smart offensive team. They know how to get their players open. Haley Frank's not a player that's necessarily going to create her own shot, but the offense that Mizzou runs allows her to get those wide open shots, and if it's a clean look, she's going to make most of them.
Lauren Hansen gives Missouri the lead, an 8-0 run for the Tigers out of Robin Pinchton's timeout after they fell behind 9-2. Renaya Davis rattles it out. Shannon Duffy got away with a shove on Kishkitawa, but the rebound ends up with Mizzou. Troop wants a 3. Got it again. Haley Troop is on fire early. She has 10 in the first quarter.
It was a beautiful pass fake she made to Lauren Hansen. Decided to take it herself. She's hot.
Not a lot of players who can make that full pass fake and then resettle themselves and hit. Jordan Horston in her first minutes. Davis, offensive foul. Haley Frank cut her off, and Missouri gets it back, trying to build on an 11-0 run.
The energy's there. They're picking up the energy. They're picking up the energy on defense, turning that into offense, making plays. Haley Frank is awesome at taking the charge. She leads the team in charges, and I'm sure she's probably up there in SEC standings for taking charges as well.
Threes from Hansen and Troop have stretched Missouri's lead out to 4. It was 9-2 Tennessee 3 minutes in. But Missouri has taken over since, an 11-0 run the last 3 minutes. And a moving screen called on Haley Frank, so a sloppy foul by Missouri to give it right back to Tennessee.
And although that was a dead ball turnover, Nate, that brings to mind the fact that Missouri is definitely going to have to handle their turnovers, limit their turnovers today, considering how fast Tennessee likes to play. They go in spurts as far as if they're playing fast on defense, playing aggressive on defense. They certainly have the capability to do so, and they certainly have the capability to score in transition, so that's got to be a focus for Missouri tonight.
That's the third Missouri turnover. Tennessee already has 6. These are the only 2 teams in the SEC who for the season have negative turnover margins, meaning they have turned the ball over more than they have received turnovers from their opponents. 3 misses, but that's an easy rebounded stick back for Tamari Key. And if Haley Troop is isolated on the glass against Tamari Key, this might be a long night for Missouri.
Not much you can do there.
First bucket for Key, who has a couple of rebounds as well. Snapped an 11-0 run, but Duffy's open and hits a 3. Missouri missed its first 3 from deep, but has hit 4 in a row since.
That's the second possession in a row where Missouri's utilized the pick and pop to get Tennessee's bigs out of the paint, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
Key double teamed. Davis left open. way too strong. Good rebound by Burrell, and she has 9 first quarter points. So Tennessee starting to get going offensively again, but Missouri has scored 14 points in the last 4 minutes, make it 16. Dixon coasts in and gets this layup to go. Timeout called by Kellie Harper and Tennessee. The Lady Vols had a 9-2 lead. They looked in control of this game early. Since then, Missouri has gone on a 16-4 run, and it's the hosts who lead by 5 with 1:50 to go in the first. SEC Women's Basketball Tournament begins March 3rd on the SEC Network at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Stay tuned in throughout the week for all the action in Greenville, South Carolina. Starting Wednesday, 4 Eastern on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. You know, Jordan, in wondering what changed for Missouri, they made the move at that timeout to Shug Dixon, and not to put it all on her, but they went from down 9-2 to, if you will, up 16-4 in the time that she's been in the ball game. Robin Pingeton talked about how they're a different team with her running the point versus Dembele. Not necessarily that one is better than the other, but that they have different styles. What changes when she's on the floor?
Absolutely. Shug has the ability to score more than Mama looks to score. Mama Dembele is more of a pass-first point guard, but Shug Dixon gives Missouri the option to pass and to score, to shoot the three, to get to the bucket. And she's also a heady player on defense, gets tips here and there, and she's done great the last few possessions of facilitating the pick and pop, making the right plays, and even being there to score when she needs to be.
Robin Pingeton wanted to travel on Jordan Horston, didn't get it. And it's a 3-point game again out of the Kellie Harper timeout. Duffy, another 3. Short, and the rebound grabbed by Jordan Walker. She's only 5'8", but she averaged 6 rebounds a game at Western Michigan last year. And can get her work done on the glass. Inside, it's Key over Duffy, and that's more of what Tennessee wants.
Absolutely. I can see them going into Key quite a bit this game, knowing that Shannon Duffy doesn't necessarily have that size. It's going to be a battle for Duffy, but she's been working hard so far.
Dixon on Horston. Troop, open again. Off back iron. The first miss for Haley Troop, and the rebound to Ray Burrell.
Missouri's gotten a ton of open threes off so far. That's what they do best. They get their defense to run around. They set a ton of screens. They send shooters off screens. Everyone on the court right now is very capable and very good at shooting the three-point shot. Haley Frank again taking another charge.
Haley Frank has taken 2 in the first quarter. This one on Jordan Walker. Get a second look.
Haley Frank just has a knack for the game. She knows when it's coming. She's always in the right spot at the right time. Taking charges, honestly, is kind of an art. You have to know where to be, what position to be in, when to fall, and she's mastered that.
Missouri can hold for the final shot. Both coaches have been pressured into first quarter timeouts because of opposing runs. Missouri, though, in front, but there's a steal by Horston, who was, unfortunately for her, standing on the sideline when she poked it away. So Missouri will reset with 4.5 seconds to go, but if nothing else, this forces the Tigers into a much more difficult end-of-clock situation. Frank came open, the pass was short. Key intercepted it. Hansen at half court has to get it off and cannot in time. An underthrown pass to Haley Frank, intercepted by Key. That keeps Missouri off the board at the end, but the Tigers come back from down 9-2 to lead by a point after 1.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship on ESPN.
It's Jackson on the drive for the lead. Got it to go! And that's it. The Baylor Lady Bears are back at the top of college basketball.
Certainly getting excited for this year's tournament down in San Antonio. Tennessee has eyes on a number 3 seed. That's where the Lady Vols are coming into play today. Missouri trying to work back into the thick of the bubble. Take a look at the resume for Kellie Harper, specifically what she's done in some tournaments. 12 NCAA tournament appearances, one of 11 coaches to lead 3 programs to the NCAA tournament, and that doesn't even include Tennessee because they didn't get to go last year with the cancellation of the tournament. They will go this year, and Kellie Harper will become only the 2nd women's basketball coach ever to take 4 different programs to the NCAA tournament, and she's still only 43 years old, now in her 17th season as a Division I head coach.
That's pretty incredible, Nate. Kelly Harper comes into new schools and does her job, and she does it quick. She's had incredible success so far here at Tennessee.
Gone to NCAA tournaments at Western Carolina, then NC State. Of course, Mizzou fans will remember her taking a couple of Missouri State teams to the tournament, including the 2019 Sweet 16 with an upset over Iowa State. And now poised to take Tennessee. Hansen for three. That's two early threes for Lauren Hansen. She has enjoyed a fantastic February, and it looks like it's set to continue tonight. Burrell around and down, a deep two for her, and that puts her into double figures. The first player for the Lady Vols. She has a game-high 11.
Ray Burrell is doing a great job finding the gaps and finding the holes in Missouri's defense and shooting that mid-range jump shot with poise. A lot of coaches and a lot of players don't value and don't necessarily believe in the long twos and the mid-range shot, but Ray Burrell certainly has the capability to knock them down.
We saw Chelsea Dungy give Missouri a lot of trouble with the mid-range when Arkansas was here and survived a tight one down the stretch. Burrell leaves the three short. Rebound ends up with Dixon, and Missouri has some numbers. Blackwell for three. A slow early shooting start for Asia Blackwell, but she hits a three there, and Missouri back out to a 5-point lead. Here's Marta Suarez. This is off the side of the backboard, and the rebound to Haley Frank. Three-point shooting generally not a big part of Asia Blackwell's game, but she stepped it up the last couple of weeks. Dixon on the drive. Tough spinning shot, and the rebound to Key. Horston double cross, step through on the jump stop. What a drive by Horston for two.
What a beautiful move. That's not easy to dive through and get through a zone like that with dribble penetration, but she certainly made it happen.
SEC all-freshman selection a year ago. Here's a first touch for LaDasia Williams, just into the ballgame for Missouri, and she's called for a travel before the finish. Missed all of Sunday's game against Florida with an ankle injury. Robin Pinchton speculated that she would be very limited tonight unless adrenaline just totally took off for her. You can see, though, what Missouri misses without her. 14.5 per game leading the team.
It'll be interesting to see how Coach P uses LaDasia today. Initially, I thought that she might come in and give Shannon Duffy a blow, assuming Shannon Duffy is going to play a lot of minutes tonight, or even come in and get some defensive stops when maybe Key or the other Tennessee bigs are hurting Shannon Duffy. Like you said, maybe the adrenaline will take over. We'll see how active she is today with that injury.
Kishkitawa over Williams and scores. So Cassie Kishkitawa did not even attempt a shot until LaDasia Williams, Missouri's only true center, gets in the game, but no problem, scores right over her. Here's Lauren Hansen, who turns 20 years old today, has had a hot start. Williams in the post. Bumped by Key, sticks with it and scores.
Nice way to stick with it there.
But Missouri late to get turned around. Burrell the other way for an easy layup. 13 for Ray Burrell.
Ray Burrell is exceptional in transition, whether she has the ball in her hands or if she's running the lane. She's an athletic, she's a long guard. She gets down the floor with ease.
13 points for Burrell, already the 10th game in a row in which she scored at double figures. She's had at least 10 in all but 2 Tennessee games this season. Williams another low post touch. Duffy the deep two. And a rim out rebound to Kishkitawa. Tennessee led early 9-2. It's been mostly Missouri since, but the Lady Vols can go back in front, and off the gorgeous feed from Horston, it's Kishkitawa to put the visitors up by 1. Four straight field goals have gone down for Tennessee. It's clear even in the first half, neither team has a whole lot of quick. Williams jostling with Key. Tennessee wanted a foul, didn't get it, but Williams called for another travel, and she is not happy. She's going to get a technical foul, and that's a technical called on LaDasia Williams. She was going after the official on the baseline right after that call. Robin Pinchton is upset about it. And we'll get a look, I'm sure, at a replay. I thought from here LaDasia Williams might have a case, but nonetheless she made it far too strongly, and in a tight game she just picked up a technical foul.
Certainly some frustration there showing. Tamari Key getting her pushed out of the lane. 2 travels in a row.
There's a little shuffle with a right foot, but it looks like the left foot was probably anchored, and you can see her reaction, and the decision to tee her up was immediate.
I'm sure she's a little bit frustrated with the amount of contact that she's receiving down there on the block as well. The refs are certainly letting these girls play tonight, and that could be a source of the frustration as well.
Because both sides wanted a foul there. Tennessee was asking for one when Williams' arm and elbow was riding up on Key trying to get position, and Key was initiating a lot of body contact to try to push her out of the lane, as you said, Jordan. Well, Rae Burrell ends up at the free throw line where she shoots 79% for the year. I always thought technical free throws seemed much harder anytime they clear everybody out. That for some reason that can affect some shooters, but I guess not Rae Burrell. Not sure she even touched the rim.
Not Rae Burrell, but Nate, you have a point there. It's like a transition layup when you're wide open. Sometimes those are a little bit harder to make if you have some pressure on defense. You don't think so much.
Robert Pinchin still not thrilled. Tennessee has stretched it out to a 3-point lead now. 6-0 run over the last minute for the Lady Vols, who have hit 4 field goals in a row. Jordan Horston has been excellent in this second quarter. Another great feed inside to Kishkitawa, who was stripped by Duffusy. And the alternating possession favors Tennessee. Missouri clearly has been somewhat victimized by the lack of size inside, but what saved the Tigers is the active hands of Shannon Duffusy.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that was an emphasis going into this game when they were scouting Tennessee, that they have to be scrappy, they have to be smart, they have to be able to get stops and get the ball, get steals wherever they can get them, and Shannon Duffusy has done an incredible job so far of that.
5 straight field goals now for the Lady Vols. Jordan Horston has 6 points and a couple of assists in her 9 minutes. Little 2-man action between Dixon and Duffusy, well defended by Tennessee. Troop had those 10 first quarter points, but that shot was altered by Horston, and the Lady Vols come the other way.
That's what the Lady Vols do so well. Even if they don't get the shot block, they alter shots. They are holding teams to low field goal percentages, just 37% from the field in SEC play because of their length, because of their active hands on defense.
The defense again in the post by Duffusy on Key. Altered the shot and then got the rebound. Backdoor pass to Troop. Pump fake on Suarez and make it Jessie Rennie, and the finish.
A beautiful pass by Shook, beautiful cut by Haley Troop, and beautiful patience.
Key outside to Rennie, open look for 3. Has not been falling for her this season like it did last year, and there's a foul called against Missouri on Rae Burrell. And that will send us into a media timeout. 31-28 is the Tennessee lead. Lady Vols have been more or less in control of the second quarter, but Haley Troop now has a dozen to lead Missouri, keeping the Tigers in it at home. Tennessee went out to a big lead. Missouri came back to go in front, but the Lady Vols lead by 3 midway through the second quarter. Nate Catter, Jordan Roundtree back with you from Columbia. Tennessee has 31. Rae Burrell has 15 of those. She is 6 for 8 from the field, 15 points and 6 rebounds already.
Rae Burrell doing everything for Tennessee right now. Certainly needed by these Lady Vols as Renai Davis has started the game. Just 0 for 3. She's attacking the glass, getting steals in transition, doing what she does best, using her length to her advantage, and she is hot. She's coming out aggressive. 15 points already just halfway through the second quarter.
She averages 17 a game, not as though that's a lousy number. That puts her in well inside the SEC's top 10, but already with 15 tonight gives her double figures in 10 straight games, and she has scored 10 or more in 18 of the Lady Vols' 20 games this year. And I would think, even though her season high is only 26, which is good, but maybe not the season highs that you see from the Chelsea Dungies of the world, that there's something very valuable as a coach to having a player who's going to get you 15 plus pretty much every night, even if she's not often going to get you 30.
Absolutely. She plays with incredible consistency. You know, Rae Burrell, if she's coming on the court, she's going to give you great performance, whether she comes out and scores 26 points, like you said, or if she comes out and gives you a solid 16, 17 points, which is invaluable to a lot of coaches.
Dixon on the drive. Troop left open. Dixon wants a three. Has not been her shot this year. She did shoot it well Sunday against Florida to raise her percentage to 30, but she missed that one. Horston, that feed knocked out of bounds, and it last went off Kishkitawa. Missouri had 2 or 3 players there, but it was out off Tennessee.
Yeah, Nate, I'm sure that's part of Missouri's game plan tonight. You can see there were 5 white jerseys in the paint, making that pass hard to get to Kishkitawa. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for them to stop that if she gets too deep a position.
Troop step back, got it. They'll say it was a 2. That's 14 for Haley Troop. Nobody's surprised that Ray Burrell has 15, but Haley Troop has 14, already more than double her season average.
She has a career high of 16 points, and those 16 points came against Tennessee, and she's poised to absolutely break that season high tonight against Tennessee once again.
Burrell straight on. And gets another bounce. Think Ray Burrell has touch. That's the second long jumper she's rattled in. And it's 18 for Ray Burrell. Still 3 minutes to go until the half.
Although Missouri's emphasis on defense is to clog the paint and make sure their post players don't get easy touches, they've got to know Ray Burrell's hot, and that was way too easy of a look for her.
Haley Frank has been quiet after her 26th Sunday against Florida. Blackwell is double teamed and fouled, and she will go to the free throw line. Gives us a chance to check out both of these buckets. First, Haley Troop, who was covered up tightly. And this is not normally her game. Not
at all, and that's incredible poise and patience. Ray Burrell there with the 3, way too easy of a look, like I said before. Got to be some sense of urgency there when Ray Burrell has the ball.
Asia Blackwell well off on the first free throw. That is an area where she struggles, 59% on the season. But she corrects on the second. Haven't seen Rennia Davis for a while. Jordan, you mentioned she's been off to a slow start, hasn't scored yet, and Jordan Horston has made a big impact on this game for Tennessee since coming in, but there's a high entry pass from Burrell and off Kishkitawa's hand. You can see again, maybe that was a little more of an unforced error, but the ways that Shannon Duffy has been able to disrupt things on the interior for Tennessee, even while she's given up 4 or 5 inches of height.
Absolutely. And even though she's giving up those 4 or 5 inches of height, credit to Shannon. She plays hard. She plays strong. She's a deceiving player. She's stronger than a lot of people might recognize. And that could be throwing Kishkitawa off as she's posting up on Shannon Duffy, giving her a little bit more resistance on the block than she might have assumed.
Jordan Walker misses it short. Kishkitawa does get the rebound, but bowls through Asia Blackwell, and Tennessee is called for a 3rd charge in the first half.
That's a good heads-up play there by Asia Blackwell. Kishkitawa certainly threw that elbow a little bit. Asia in the right place in the right time. Missouri knows they're going to have to get what they can on defense, and they've done a good job so far of being scrappy and playing hard.
That's 2 fouls on Kishkitawa, along with the 2 fouls on Davis. Duffy whistles one inside to Blackwell for the reverse finish.
Beautiful pass, beautiful reverse layup against Jordan Horston, who is not short herself. Not a hard layup to make, with a great play by Asia Blackwell.
Rennie from the corner, off the mark. She shot 46% from 3 last year, just 1 for 14 this season. But the rebound, after it squirted away from Frank, ends up with Tennessee again. Horston for 3. The Lady Vols have been very cold from deep. They're 2 for 11, and both of those makes have come from Ray Burrell.
I'm sure that's good for Coach Pinchin to see on the stat sheet. I know if there's anything she wants to give Tennessee tonight, it is that 3-point shot, as they don't shoot the 3 extremely well game in, game out. So it's a good thing for Mizzou to see that the 3-pointers aren't falling.
Here's that feed from Duffy inside to Blackwell.
It's a beautiful pass. She leads her, makes sure Jordan Horston doesn't have an opportunity to get her hand on the ball. Great play there.
Duffy has already made an impact in all 5 major statistical categories: 3 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, and 3 steals. Frank for 3. Off the mark, and Jordan Walker has the rebound. Haley Frank is 0 for 2, has not yet scored. Ray Burrell to Rennie, who didn't even look at the 3 that time. Walker got away with some contact on Dembele, and the rebound by Troop. Limited capacity crowd at Mizzou Arena, giving a little bit of life to the Tigers, down by only 1 inside the final 30 seconds of the second quarter. Troop on the drive. Asia Blackwell the offensive rebound, and she's fouled. Only the 3rd team foul against Tennessee. So there will be a reset here, and the shot clock will turn off, so Missouri now can hold for the final shot of the opening half.
It's one of the great things about having an Asia Blackwell on your team. Haley Troop gets to the rim, misses the layup, but Asia Blackwell always gives Missouri an opportunity to get a second shot opportunity.
Jordan Walker out for Tennessee. Destiny Salary, who was recruited very hard by Missouri, in for Tennessee to make her first appearance against the Tigers. Freshman out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Hook Dixon back in, unsurprisingly for Missouri, to manage the late clock situation. Dixon with 5. Duffy with 3. Dixon left open. Missouri takes the lead. Shug Dixon puts Missouri in front before the horn. Mizzou fell behind 9-2 in the opening 3 minutes, but the Tigers came firing back, and they end up with a halftime lead, 36-34 at the break over number 20, Tennessee. A Shug Dixon buzzer beater gave Missouri the halftime lead, 36-34 over number 20, Tennessee. Missouri during Black History Month has been making an effort to honor some history of this women's basketball program, and tonight they are honoring at halftime with a video presentation the first black player in the history of Missouri women's basketball to play all 4 years, back under Joanne Rutherford in the early 1980s. Check out this feature from Mizzou Athletics.
Coach Rutherford and we were talking back and forth. She would call me. They would send me letters. And so I just kind of wasn't so sure about it. So I just kind of set it aside. And a teammate and I, we decided to go to Central Missouri State for a visit. And so we jumped on a bus and we headed down I-70. And I looked out the window and I was like, Columbia? I'm like, those are the people that's been calling me. So I'm like, I'm going to go see. So I hopped off the bus and ran in the bus station and I called Coach. And ever since then, it's been a connection. I didn't know a lot about the Big 8 and other schools other than Indiana, Michigan. And so I did know that great basketball players exist, but I just didn't know they were at Mizzou. And so we had some great players. So I wanted to join them, so I stayed. I didn't really think about the race thing, not so much. I think it was just good basketball players wanting to play together. Just being in a situation at Mizzou helped me to just walk in any door and feel comfortable. And so just with Coach preaching about life, she taught us a lot about life in general. She just gave us the confidence that we can be anything, we can do anything, we can adjust, we can adapt. That's all I can tell you, is just adjust and adapt, and then you'll be successful. With that being said, with my community back home in Indiana and my high school and my friends and my family here and my friends, I guess they helped me realize that it is something special. And it is something special because not a lot of people can do it. Not a lot of people can stay in an environment in which they're the only one. And I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride, especially when you're winning. I've been thinking about Mizzou lately, and I was thinking about my experiences there, and I can say that it was good for me because it helped me throughout my life. So it was a good experience.
So you heard Debbie Walker mention it at the beginning of that video, but she was supposed to go to Central Missouri, got off the bus one stop too early in Columbia, asked someone at the bus station to call the basketball coach, and they thought that meant Joanne Rutherford, who had no idea what Walker was doing there. They decided just to put her up for a couple of nights while they figured out what was going on, and then offered to put her back on the bus to get her to Warrensburg for Central Missouri. But Walker said, no, I like it here. I like you, coach. I'm just going to stay and play for you. Well, I think Joanne Rutherford was thankful for that. How about almost 1,100 career points, 21-plus wins all 4 seasons, and helping Missouri get to the first of 2 Sweet 16s in program history back in 1982, won the Big 8 in 1983. That's enough of a career for anybody, let alone the fact that she was also paving the way for many, many black players who have since come through and played major roles in this program.
No doubt, Nate. Debbie Walker, that's an incredible message, an incredible story. I love her message about adjust and adapt, and you can succeed in anything that you do, no matter if you're the first to do it or the last to do it, if you would just adjust and adapt. She was a huge impact to that team when she was here in the early 80s at the University of Missouri. Not only the first African-American 4-year player, but helped that Mizzou team really pave the way for the future Mizzou teams to come and the success that they would have had in the future. It's truly an incredible story, and she really paved the ways for young girls, especially young African-American girls all across the country in the Midwest, and those who have come after her here at the University of Missouri, and she certainly has a lot to be proud of.
Robert Pingeton talked about how much she loves connecting the present of this program with the past, and certainly that video and Debbie Walker being a part of this program and now being able to share her experiences with the current program has gone a long way to accomplishing that goal. Certainly plenty going on for Missouri in the present as well. The Tigers have come awfully close to a signature win this year. They could get it tonight, up by 2 at the half on Tennessee. Missouri leads 36-34 at the half over number 20 Tennessee. There's a little something to enjoy. Look at her. She's saying, hey, we're on TV. How about that? Nate Gatter, Jordan Roundtree back with you in Columbia. And let's get a look at what's going on around the rest of the SEC tonight. A few scores that won't be any surprise, including South Carolina beating up on Ole Miss. Mississippi State and LSU in a tight one. Texas A&M leads over Alabama. And Kentucky and Georgia battling in the 4th as well. Then Arkansas and Auburn will wrap things up tonight. The Tigers still looking for a first SEC win, and they've got a tough final week to finish it out against Arkansas and then these Tennessee Lady Vols on Sunday. And with the season wrapping up now, just 2 games counting tonight remaining in the SEC schedule, we can take a look at what Charlie Cream says is the current projected seeds for SEC teams. He has 8 in the field, and LSU among the next 4 out, meaning they're among the 5th through 8th teams out right now. He projects that Tennessee will be a 3 seed. If Mizzou were to win tonight, he would drop the Lady Vols down to the 4 line and would move Mizzou into that group of next 4 out. Of course, all of that is just in the lead up to a week of basketball that can have a big impact on NCAA tournament seedings, and for that matter, who's in and who's out. That's the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament beginning March 3rd on the SEC Network at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Stay tuned in throughout the week for all the action in Greenville, South Carolina on the SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. We've had plenty of action here in Columbia over the first 20 minutes. Missouri with a 2-point lead. It was all Tennessee early, and in the end, the vast majority of the Lady Vols offense, more than half their scoring, came from Ray Burrell.
Ray Burrell got started early with that 3 in the corner, then found her mid-range game in Mizzou's zone defense. She's attacking the glass, getting offensive rebounds, making this hard for Missouri's defense. In transition, really doing it all. She's already above her season average, and I'm sure there's plenty more to come.
Meanwhile, Haley Troop, speaking of above your season average, how about more than double your season average? 14 in the first half for Troop.
Haley Troop is playing unconscious tonight. She's playing confident. She's coming out firing. I know she anticipates Tennessee having a lot of focus on other players on Mizzou's team, and she's really stepped it up tonight.
Missouri's defensive game plan, meanwhile, was to collapse the paint and try to neutralize Tennessee's height advantage. Shannon Duffy had 3 steals and a block shot, just making a huge impact on this game at both ends of the floor.
Absolutely. I'm sure Tennessee was not expecting this kind of fight down low in the post from Shannon Duffy, but she has really embraced her role this game and taken it seriously, getting steals, getting good defensive stops, and I'm sure Coach Pingeton is excited to see that from her.
Burrell and Davis both averaged 16 plus for Tennessee. Burrell beat that average in the first half. Davis, meanwhile, is scoreless. She picked up a couple of early fouls and was limited to just 7 minutes. Tennessee did have the edge in the paint, but perhaps not as much as the Lady Vols would have hoped coming in. We'll see if they are more intentional about trying to get the ball down in the low post. Jordan, if you were Tennessee, is that the primary adjustment you would make? And if so, what else would you do?
Absolutely, Nate. I would start with that, and my reasoning for that is obviously if you can get the ball to your bigs down low who have the size advantage, who have good touch around the rim, that gives you an opportunity to score. But what really gives Tennessee the advantage there is if they miss the layup, they have the opportunity to offensive rebound, and that's almost harder for teams like Missouri to get the offensive rebound after a missed layup. It's easier to get a stop than it is to combat the offensive rebound. So I think that is an adjustment that Coach Harper and these Tennessee Vols should make in the second half, is pounding the ball inside to their bigs.
Meanwhile, you can see the Missouri offense yet again centered around the three-point shot. The Tigers got almost 60% of their scoring in the first half from beyond the arc. And after tying a program an SEC record with 18 made threes Sunday, they're not all that far off the pace so far tonight.
They're shooting the ball well tonight, Nate, and that's something they're definitely going to have to focus on, is knocking down three-point shots as opposed to getting in the lane and trying to shoot layup after layup over Tennessee's size.
Missouri went through a serious three-point shooting swoon early on in SEC play, and Robin Pinchon said she just wanted players to keep taking the shots that were their shots. Clearly, it's paid off of late for Mizzou. Blackwell on the blow-by for 2, and it's a 4-point Tigers lead. The only thing she said about Sunday's game against Florida was, I wish we could have put a few of those threes in our back pocket and used them tonight, but it seems like maybe they did.
Does look like they did, shooting about 50% from 3 so far.
Burrell. 21 points for Ray Burrell, only 1 possession into the second half.
And he said Missouri shooting about 50% from 3, Ray Burrell shooting 75% from 3.
But she's the only Lady Vol who has made a three-pointer. She's hit 3 out of 4. The rest of the team combined 0 for 8. Duffusy drives on Key and has her shot blocked at the last moment. That's the length of Tamari Key. Looked like Duffusy was past her, but Key still able to stretch out a long arm and swat it away. Of course, she earlier this season became just the 4th Lady Vol ever to have a triple-double, and she did it with blocked shots in addition to points and rebounds.
Don't see that every day.
Blackwell airball, and here is Rennia Davis the other way. Just those 7 first-half minutes and did not score. Kishkitawa has her shot partially blocked by Duffusy, follows it up and misses. Rebound punched away by Troop, and Dembele can come out for Missouri.
There was another stripped shot by Shannon Duffusy.
Haley Frank left open and cashes it in. Haley Frank might not love the contested shots, but you cannot leave her that wide open. Her first points of the ball game. Davis tries to answer and misses. Rebound by Blackwell, and she's fouled by Tamari Key. That's her first personal foul, and the first against the Lady Vols in the second half.
That last possession, you can really see where Missouri is tempting Tennessee to take those three-point shots by packing the lane in, having 5 players in the lane, and it's paid off so far. Only Ray Burrell shooting a good three-point percentage tonight, only one to make a 3.
Troop spins away, tried to work Frank open again. Blackwell against Burrell. Duffusy for 3. Long rebound to Walker, and Tennessee can run. Kelly Harper wanted to make sure the Lady Vols were getting good shots. She said even though it's an oxymoron, she wanted them to be aggressively patient. Walker steps in. Back iron, rebound ends up back with Jordan Walker. Inside, tapped out to Dembele. Tennessee has dominated on the glass, but it hasn't translated into a lead. Duffusy open again. Offensive rebound, Blackwell. And a putback. What a physical play by Asia Blackwell. She's into double figures with 10. Burrell, the floater. She has absolutely everything working tonight. She's made 9 of 11 and has 23 points.
You can just tell by the way Rae Burrell is dribbling and shooting, almost not even thinking about it. She's putting up the shot and almost running back on defense before she sees it even go in, Nate. It's been one of those nights for her.
That's what you talked about, Jordan, the run out, allowing Tennessee to get easy position. Good work by Key to run the floor and get that inside position underneath. Duffusy, another three. Rattles around and drops. Shannon Duffusy, for everything else she's done, has not had the three-pointer falling tonight, but she gets her second one of the evening to go, and it's a 5-point Mizzou lead again.
Duffusy and the rest of Missouri's post players, as in Haley Frank or even in Asia Blackwell, are certainly taking advantage of bringing these Tennessee posts out onto the three-point line, knowing they're not used to having to guard out there.
Burrell takes a tumble. Davis past Blackwell, and the first points of the night for Rennia Davis, badly needed for Tennessee. As it is, Rae Burrell has scored 23 of the Lady Vols' 43. She can use any help she can get. It's the Lady Vols' turn to go into a zone. Frank outside. Back-to-back threes for Haley Frank. Missouri has 10 made three-pointers tonight on 21 attempts. The Tigers stretch into a 6-point lead, and Kelly Harper wants timeout. Jordan Roundtree, you can do a lot of things to Haley Frank. You cannot leave her wide open.
That's the one thing you can't do is leave her wide open, especially in a zone. That's way too easy. She's going to hit it every time.
Missouri on the strength of excellent three-point shooting, leading by 6, and you can see what's on the line according to ESPN bracketologist Charlie Cream. Tennessee comes in with a 3-seed, Missouri off the bubble. He lists the bubble down to 8 teams that are just missing the NCAA tournament. If Missouri were to win, Tennessee would drop a line down to a 4-seed. Mizzou would move into the next 4 out category, meaning they would be between 5th and 8th away from missing or away from getting the final spot in the NCAA tournament. And the Tigers have managed to build a 6-point lead here midway through the third quarter. Nate Gatter, Jordan Roundtree back with you. Jordan, obviously, this is not new for Missouri. If anything, in their big games, they've tended to fall behind in the third quarter and then come back. But they've had opportunities to beat plenty of big-time teams, including Texas A&M, Arkansas, Kentucky on the road. What do they have to do over the final 15 minutes not to let this one slip away?
Absolutely. I know the easy answer would be to continue to shoot the ball as well as they have. Of course, we know that's not always necessarily the easiest thing. You can't always control that, but what they need to do is continue to control the boards as much as they can. They have to limit Tennessee to 1 shot per possession, and they've done a pretty good job of that so far, but if they start giving up offensive rebounds and easy buckets down low, that's going to hurt them.
Horston, good finish. She made a big impact late in the first quarter and throughout the second quarter with Rennia Davis on the bench. Now they're on the floor together, and we'll see if Horston can have that kind of impact in the second half as well for Tennessee. Sort of similar to the impact Shug Dixon had for Mizzou. Obviously, Horston has a lot more size, but they have similar styles on the ball, that sort of stop and start, never in a hurry dribble. Mama Dembele pulls a 3. Unusual for her when she's not wide open. Missouri has taken more than half of its field goal attempts from three-point range. There's a lob from Horston to Davis, and Tennessee with a quick 4-0 spurt has cut it right back down to a 1-possession game. Dixon on the drive, pass Burrell, scoop layup goes down.
Beautiful patience by Shug Dixon. You can see she makes a lot of good dribble moves to the basket. In the beginning of the game, missed a couple layups, got that one to fall.
Kishkitawa with the finish over Shannon Duffusy, and that is what Tennessee has been waiting to see. 3 quick buckets for the Lady Vols. Kishkitawa on the line after the break. Saturday on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Our full day of college basketball is capped off by an important matchup. 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Number 6 Alabama looks to clinch at least a tie for its first regular season SEC title since 2002 against Mississippi State in Starkville. That's on the SEC Network, streaming on the ESPN app. Hey, Catter, Jordan Roundtree back with you in Columbia, where Missouri leads by 2, but Tennessee making a push. Get a look at the tournament resume for Kelly Harper's Lady Vols, and you can see why they are projected as a 3 seed. Some people might not expect that with the number 20 national ranking in the coaches poll, but that net ranking has helped them an awful lot. This is a game, though, that Tennessee needs to stay on that 3 line. And in some ways, this is a microcosm of the season that Tennessee has had, Jordan. It's been a very difficult schedule, no doubt. But even while the Lady Vols competed hard against UConn and beat South Carolina, they've also had some tight losses in games they would like to win.
They have, and that absolutely will affect the outcome and what we see in March. This is one of those games that Tennessee needs to win if they want to get to where they want to be when it comes to late February, early March. They've been in a lot of games, beaten a lot of great teams, South Carolina, for example, but have let a couple slip that they probably should have won.
Haley Troop had the big first half with 14 points. Extra pass to Shug Dixon. Another Missouri 3.
You can really tell, Nate, that Missouri is playing on one accord tonight. They're making the extra pass. They are making pass fakes. They are making good looks to the basket, finding open cutters, cutting to the basket, and knocking down their shots. They're really playing in an offensive flow right now.
Shannon Duffy picks up a second quick foul. Get a look back at this 3 from Shug Dixon, who was shooting barely over 20% well into SEC play, but she's hit 5 of her 6 threes the last 2 games.
Absolutely. Shug Dixon has always had the capability to shoot the 3-point shot. Like you said, Nate, started off the season a little bit cold, but coming ready to play as of late, knocking down threes when it matters.
Horston from the mid-range. Offensive rebound. Kishkitawa didn't get the putback. A third try won't go. And finally, the rebound grabbed by Missouri.
Missouri got lucky there, and that's what I mentioned earlier. That will make it tough for them as the remainder of the game goes on if they continue to give up offensive rebounds like that.
Dixon, another 3. This one too strong on the rebound to Horston. It wasn't that long ago, only a couple of weeks, that Missouri went 1 for 18 from 3 against Kentucky. That one's knocked out of bounds, but stays with Tennessee. Has not been the story these last couple of games, when Mizzou made 64% against Florida and 46% so far tonight. That's the main difference. Tennessee is shooting basically the same percentage from the field, but Mizzou has hit 11 threes, Tennessee only 3, and all of those have come from Ray Burrell. Three from Walker, and that goes down. So there's the first 3-pointer for Tennessee from someone other than Ray Burrell, and the 4th of the night for the Lady Vols, back to a 1-point game. Frank fouled by Horston. Late whistle against the Tennessee guard. Haley Frank takes charges at both ends of the floor.
She does. Credit to Jordan Horston there. She tried her best to get over the top of the screen to take away the 3-point shot, trying her best to get through the defense, but Haley Frank once again taking a charge. Knack for the game.
The second foul on Horston. Tennessee has 4 different players on the floor with 2 fouls, but nobody with more than that. Meanwhile, Shannon Duffy is going to check out for Missouri. She's played all but a couple of minutes in this game, and LaDeja Williams is back on. She has been limited for Missouri, but did have an impact during her minutes in the first half. Troop, mid-range, and that ties her career high. 16 against Tennessee last year and 16 against Tennessee tonight.
That was a good heads-up play by Haley Troop there. The defense going over the screen to take away the 3-point shot. She knows Kishkitawa was waiting for her in the lane, pulls up and hits the mid-range jump shot.
Frank didn't get that call, and Davis with the finish. Remains a 1-point ball game. Davis has 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in 15 minutes. She hasn't played poorly, but just was limited to 7 minutes in the first half with foul trouble.
I'm sure over the next 4th quarter and the last couple minutes here in the 3rd quarter, we'll see Rennia Davis trying to be a little bit more aggressive.
And there's an and 1 for LaDeja Williams, and the bigger concern for Tennessee is a potential injury underneath to Ray Burrell. Get a second look both at the and 1 for Williams and what might have happened to Burrell on the interior, who immediately grabbed at her lower leg. Tennessee has had a bunch of injury issues this year, and you can see the right ankle roll over on her. The last thing the Lady Vols need is another injury, and least of all to Rae Burrell, their leading scorer, who has 23 points tonight.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Nate, that Rennia Davis is going to come out in the end of this game more aggressive because she only played those 7 minutes in the first half, and Tennessee's going to need her points, especially now if Rae Burrell is unable to return to the game.
Certainly looked very, very painful, and she went down immediately. And isn't putting any weight on that right foot as she's helped off the floor. She gets a well-deserved hand from this Mizzou crowd, which she would deserve regardless with how well she has played tonight. I don't think there's any doubt, regardless of the outcome of this game, that Rae Burrell has been the best player on the floor.
Without a doubt. She's at 23 points, 8 rebounds, just 2 away from a double-double.
She's done it shooting 9 out of 11 and has hardly come off the floor tonight. But will have to come off now in pain, and you hope for her sake that it's nothing too serious. Of course, we'd love to see her back to finish out this ball game, but even if she's not able to do so, you hope at the very least that it won't be something that affects her too much beyond this week, won't affect her in the SEC or NCAA tournaments, because Tennessee has big-time aspirations, and deservedly so, and that would throw a real wrench in Kelly Harper's plans for the Lady Vols for the remainder of this season. Tennessee lost Kean Green, post-transfer from Liberty after only 4 games this year, and has been largely without Marta Suarez the last few weeks, true freshman from Spain who played a major role early in the season. The loss of Rae Burrell would be the most devastating of all. Davis the miss, and 3 Tigers were there fighting each other for the rebound. Clearly the message has been received, George.
It sure has. Rebound, rebound, rebound. To your point, Nate, about Rae Burrell, another thing with Coach Harper is she plays a handful of players a lot of minutes, and so this is not a point in the season where it's necessarily easy to have a player who's used to coming off the bench come in and step up for major minutes.
Miscommunication, but another charge drawn by Haley Frank. Jordan Walker went over her, and Haley Frank makes up for the Missouri turnover.
It's incredible hustle by Haley Frank to get there and get in position in front of her before she shoots the layup. That's not an easy thing to do when you're trailing the play. Running back on defense in transition, oftentimes it's going to be a block call. So kudos to Haley Frank there for hustling as hard as she could in transition to get the stop.
Williams against Key, gets bumped and fouled. Tell you what though, on that replay, normally the rule of thumb is that you want a player to be totally set before the offensive player begins their gather and goes into their upward motion, pushing off the floor. And that doesn't necessarily mean the feet have to be completely still, but I think on second look, Haley Frank maybe was a little bit fortunate there. But as you said, that can be chalked up in part to the track record that she develops.
Absolutely, Nate, I agree with that. It could have went either way there. It's not an easy thing to do. Here you see she gets there, not completely set, doesn't move too much though, but to your point, she might have earned that reputation, kind of earned that respect there, and the referees may know that she knows what she's doing, taking charges there.
So Missouri by 5 in the final minute of the third quarter. And no Rae Burrell on the floor for Tennessee, having to figure things out offensively. Horston too strong, offensive rebound by Key, and she's fouled on the floor. Only the 3rd team foul against Missouri.
Coach Pinchton obviously satisfied with making Tennessee hit 3-point shots, even more satisfied with the fact that they've only made 4, but what comes with that is oftentimes long rebounds or rebounds coming off the opposite side of the rim. Missouri's got to make sure they are boxing out and Tennessee shooting 3-point shots.
Missouri can hold for the final shot after Rennie's shot was deflected. This is normally Shug Dixon time for the Tigers. For the moment, though, it's Haley Troop, who has matched her career high tonight with 16 points, both of those outings against Tennessee. Frank comes free, tough 3-pointer. Rebound tapped around. Davis can hoist from half court, and it's off the mark. So a helter-skelter ending to a third quarter that saw Missouri stretch a 2-point halftime lead out to 5. Tigers 60, Lady Vols 55 with 10 minutes to go. All coming down to the wire here in Columbia. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for 10 more minutes. This one down the stretch. Missouri leads by 5 at the start of the fourth quarter. Nate Gatter, Jordan Roundtree back with you from Columbia, where the biggest storyline for Tennessee all night was Rae Burrell, who at one point had scored more than half of the Lady Vols' points. She has 23 on the night. But of course now, Jordan, after the rolled ankle that you're going to see at the end of this package, there's a chance that Tennessee is going to have to go the final 10 minutes of this game trying to come back without their leading scorer.
That would certainly be a devastating loss for Tennessee, as Rae Burrell has done it all. She has been Tennessee's only three-point presence. She is killing it on the offensive rebounds. There you can see her getting walked off the court. Would be a big loss. We need players like Rennia Davis to step up. She's looked more aggressive after only playing 7 minutes in the first half. Hasn't made a three-point shot yet, but is 3 for 8 from the field with a few rebounds. She will certainly have to step it up and put up more shots if Rae Burrell does not return.
Tell you what, though, the way she just walked back into that huddle and wiped down her shoes looked like a player who is not planning on sitting on the bench for the next 10 minutes.
It doesn't look like it to me either, Nate, and I'm sure Rae Burrell is thinking there's no way I'm sitting this one out after the performance I've had so far. Down 5, a lot at stake for Tennessee. I wouldn't be surprised to see her back in the game.
And what a story that would be. And I would imagine huge motivation as well for the rest of her teammates to see her retake the floor and try to fight through this one to secure what would be a very big win for Tennessee. Davis, corner 3. That's a good start for the Lady Vols.
That was one of the most contested threes I've seen Tennessee have to take so far, as Missouri has been daring them to shoot the three-point shot. Good in-rhythm shot by Rennia Davis, and I'm sure we'll see her take a couple more threes before the end of this game.
Davis has been playing massive minutes for Tennessee, including 39 of 40 Sunday against Georgia, because Tennessee just has needed her and Rae Burrell. They both played 39 on Sunday. So perhaps the fact that she was limited to 7 in the first half with foul trouble will help her legs down the stretch. Dixon can't answer with a 3. Walker has the rebound, and Tennessee can tie or take the lead. Horston off the mark. Offensive rebound key, and the Lady Vols with a 5-0 run in the opening minute of the fourth quarter to knock the ball game up at 60.
Tamari Key has been defended pretty well by Shannon Duffy and LaDasia Williams in the post when she's getting the ball on the block. What she does really well and what's really hard to stop is the offensive board.
First, this Rennia Davis 3, only a 25% shooter on the year, but shot 44% last week when she was the SEC Player of the Week. Even more importantly for the Lady Vols, Jordan, this is where they've been dominating.
Absolutely, that offensive rebound. Missouri has got to have an emphasis on turning and boxing out as soon as the shot goes up. They can't jump with Tennessee. They can't reach up and grab the ball. They have got to get a body into Tennessee if they want to take home this win.
Tennessee has 38 rebounds, Missouri only 20. Even better for the Lady Vols, Rae Burrell is back on the floor with her game-high 23 points. Davis, same spot. Lady Vols lead.
Rennia Davis is feeling it. That's her sweet spot. She loves the baseline. When she's on the baseline, she's going to shoot the 3 or jab and rip baseline. You see her on that baseline quite a bit. She's pretty effective in that spot.
8-0 run for Tennessee in the opening minute 40 of the fourth quarter. Blackwell on the baseline. Frank for 3. Tied up again. Davis and Frank back and forth.
That's a huge shot by Haley Frank. You can tell Tennessee was feeling the momentum there. They were feeling themselves, getting some offensive rhythm there. Haley Frank, clutch shot to stop the momentum.
Inside, Kishkitawa has it go off her hand, and Dixon the other way for Missouri, looking to retake the lead. The pass toward Williams, deflected and tipped off LaDasia Williams out of bounds, so the Lady Vols get it right back.
Once again, Kishkitawa struggling to get out to the 3 in time to guard Haley Frank. Tennessee's bigs are struggling getting out and guarding on the three-point line, something they're not used to. They're not used to having to guard players who are so comfortable playing the guard spot and so comfortable shooting the 3.
Rare miss from Burrell. Rennia Davis has been hot. Step back goes down. 14 points, all in the second half for Rennia Davis, and Tennessee leads again.
I had a feeling this was coming, Nate. Obviously not a player who's used to sitting the majority of the first half and going into the second half scoreless. I knew she'd be coming out aggressive. She loves the step back. It's so smooth. She can elevate and shoot over defenders with her size. She's feeling it.
Frank against Davis. Double teamed, Troop underneath. Williams free in the mid-range. And the rebound to Walker. Davis again. Mid-range again. Hits again. 10 fourth quarter points for Davis. 16 in the second half. And the Lady Vols lead by 4.
That mid-range game on display once again. Like I said earlier, Nate, not a lot of players, not a lot of coaches value that mid-range game that much anymore. Rennia Davis and Rae Burrell is the dynamic duo of the mid-range. They love the mid-range and clearly effective from it as well.
Missouri will keep possession. Shannon Duffy subs in and replaces LaDasia Williams, who you could see tonight, Jordan, for the gutsy effort she put in, has not been at 100%. Rennia Davis, meanwhile, with 16 points on 7 of 9 shooting in the second half. First team All-SEC, honorable mention All-American a year ago, when she became just the 5th Lady Vol in the last 35 years to average 18 or more points a game. Joined Bridget Gordon, Chamique Holdsclaw, Tamika Catchings, and Candace Parker. If there's a better collection of 4 players at any program anywhere, I'd like to hear the list.
I would too. That's a great company to be in.
Blackwell past Burrell, and a big layup for Asia Blackwell, who has scored 12 kind of quietly, but her offense has been important for Missouri.
That's something that's going to be interesting to see for the remainder of this game, is how well Rae Burrell can move on defense. Asia Blackwell has gotten past her a few times, especially on that baseline, and I'm sure with that ankle it makes it even harder.
18 points for Davis in the second half in 13 minutes. Still a 2-possession lead for Tennessee. Here's Lauren Hansen late in the shot clock. On her 20th birthday, the Auburn transfer against Walker. Gets Troop open, left it way short, and a shot clock violation, the first of the night by either team.
That's something that Missouri has struggled with in the past, is that shot clock violation and going a little bit slow on offense. That's something they've improved on this season. Gets their first one of the game. That was a good defensive stance by Tennessee. You can see a little bit more sense of urgency there, getting over screens, guarding players off the dribble, and boxing out and getting the stop.
Certainly they have the length and athleticism to be an elite defensive team, and Kelly Harper talked about just really needing to give that max effort on the defensive end of the floor, that when they're fully focused, this is an excellent defensive team, and you can see it in the field goal percentage they've allowed and in the blocks they've had.
Absolutely, they disrupt shots all over the court. It's hard to get shots off over the top of that length. Missouri has done a good job of it so far from the three-point line, and Tennessee is showing some grit on defense this far. I'm sure we'll see it for the remainder of the game.
They're also 6th in the country in rebound margin, and you can see why. 40 rebounds for Tennessee tonight against 21 for Missouri. 5 to shoot for Blackwell against Horston. With 2, has to get it off, and she's fouled at the horn. Great move by Asia Blackwell. She used every bit of time she had, but she'll go to the free throw line after the break. Chance to cut it back to a 1-possession ball game for Mizzou.
Here we go.
Yes! Big time.
Back in Columbia, where Tennessee trailed by 5 at the start of the fourth quarter and now leads by 4 midway through. And Jordan, that's just about all thanks to Rennia Davis.
It is all thanks to Rennia Davis. She has given Tennessee quick offense. She is coming out aggressive and efficient. She has not missed many shots in the second half, knocking down threes from the baseline, finding those open spots in the zone to give Tennessee that quick offense that they certainly need to win this game. Her and Rae Burrell, the dynamic duo, back at it again. Rae Burrell with 23, Rennia Davis with 18 points in only 22 minutes.
18 all in the second half out of 8 of 10 shooting since the break. Mentioned last year she became only the 5th Lady Vol in the last 35 years to average 18 or more points over an entire season, joining Bridget Gordon, Chamique Holdsclaw, Tamika Catching, and Candace Parker. Well, aside from Gordon, who graduated before the WNBA, the last 3 of those all went in the top 3 picks, including Tamika Catchings and Candace Parker going #1 overall. Rennia Davis certainly is in that conversation, and if she drops outside the top 3, Tamika Catchings is waiting there at number 4 as the general manager of the Indiana Fever, and I would think she'd be easily tempted by a fellow Lady Vol for life.
Absolutely. If that's any indication of the future that Rennia Davis has past college, she has a bright future ahead of her.
So Asia Blackwell splits the free throws. It's a 1-possession lead for the Lady Vols inside 5 minutes to play. Davis against Frank. Tough ball away, and she's fouled.
That was a beautiful shot there. You can see Rennia Davis is comfortable scoring at all levels on the floor. Posted up Haley Frank, a player of similar size, puts a move on her. Turn away, fade away jump shot on the baseline. That's not a shot you see a lot in girls basketball. Beautiful, it's smooth. She gets it off over the top of Haley Frank, has to foul her, sending her to the free throw line.
Davis is not an elite perimeter shooter, just 25% from 3, but she does shoot free throws quite well at 82% on the year. Led Tennessee with 22 against Georgia Sunday and has used those fresher legs after only 7 minutes because of foul trouble in the first half to assert her dominance in the second half. You can see the WNBA profile on Davis and where they rate her scoring and her upside according to Rebecca Lobo of ESPN, and she is mocked by ESPN at number 4, which would mean playing for Tamika Catchings' Indiana Fever.
What a story that would be. Something interesting about this game that I just realized is Tennessee has only gone to the free throw line 3 times. Missouri has done a good job of keeping them off the free throw line. That's not an easy thing to do when you are battling in the paint. I expected a lot more fouls this game, and Missouri has done their job, kept them off the line, and this is only the 4th free throw to be shot and made by the Tennessee Vols.
Mizzou has only been called for 8 fouls the entire ball game, more than 35 minutes. Davis hits both. She has 20 points, joining Ray Burrell with 20 plus tonight for the Lady Vols, who have now hit all 5 of their free throws. And it's a 5-point lead for Tennessee. Blackwell not able to get position on Horston. Late in the shot clock. Blackwell gets it in the post and scores. That was a battle the entire shot clock between Blackwell and Horston, and in the end, the Missouri sophomore wins it.
That was a battle. Tennessee is not giving Missouri the freedom and the space to set screens and come off of screens and get to the basket and cut as they were in the first half. You can tell there's some defensive intensities that has picked up as of late.
And a rare empty possession for Tennessee in the 4th quarter. Missouri could tie it with a 3. Mizzou has been in one tight 4th quarter after another against ranked teams and has come up short over and over again this season. But they could erase a lot of those demons tonight. Again, 5 to shoot. Duffy has to get rid of it. On the drive, took an extra step, but made the layup.
That was beautiful recognition there to see that Kush Kidawah was making a closeout off balance and knew that Shannon Duffy with her speed could get past Kush Kidawah, and instead of settling for the 3, goes for the easy layup.
Here's Davis, 20 points all in the second half. Missouri doubles, and it's out to Walker. Pass deflected and then went off Kush Kidawah. Tennessee has had issues with entry passes all night long. Here's a second look at that Duffy drive.
Beautiful left-hand drive. Like I said, Nate, good basketball IQ play there. Would have been easy for her to shoot the 3. She had enough time and space, in my opinion, but knowing that Kush Kidawah probably couldn't keep up with her on the drive makes the easy play.
Duffy has impacted this game in every facet, maybe having the best game I've ever seen from a player shooting 3 for 11.
And she's playing the 5-man the primary time of this game, and she is leading the team in assists at that 5-man spot with 4.
Blackwell is fouled, and she'll go back to the free throw line, this time with a chance to give Missouri the lead. All of a sudden, Tennessee's offense has really dried up. The Lady Vols haven't made a field goal in the last 3.5 minutes, and Missouri has been able to take advantage.
A lot of that might have to do with the last couple possessions that we've seen, putting a little bit more emphasis on doubling Rennia Davis, or at least making it seem like she's being guarded by 2 people. You can see players like Shug Dixon digging in on the drive, not making it so easy to get Rennia Davis a clean look.
Jordan Walker, by the way, was just called for her 4th foul. She is the only player for either team who has 4. There have only been 22 combined fouls called this entire game. Blackwell splits the pair again, and Missouri will have to settle for the tie. Limited capacity crowd trying to make themselves heard in Columbia. Davis against Troop on the drive, through contact, she got it. Rennia Davis, a second half show, 22 since the break, and she'll go to the line for another.
That is such a hard drive to stop right there. With the size advantage and the quickness and the ability to elevate, it's just too easy for Rennia Davis there. Haley Troop called for the foul. Looked clean to me, but a little bit of body there. If you're going to foul her, foul her.
Davis has 23 to match Rae Burrell for the team and game high after she did not score in 7 first-half minutes.
22 points, almost as many points as she has minutes.
Dixon in the corner against Davis, who has drawn the assignment in the second half and has done a great job stopping Dixon from instigating a lot of Missouri's offense the way she did in the first half. 6 to shoot. Switch on Horston. Dixon has to get rid of it through contact. Nearly banked it in. What a shot that would have been for Shug Dixon. Instead, Tennessee can extend the lead back to 2 possessions. Davis wants a 3. Rebound off Blackwell and out of bounds. That looked like it went straight through Blackwell's hands and got her either in the shoulder or the head and deflected out of bounds.
You can see when Rennia Davis catches the ball, Missouri is trying to take away that three-point shot, but not getting too close, knowing her first step is so quick. That is the advantage to being such a multi-dimensional player. The defense really doesn't know what to do. You have many options to put it on the floor or take the three-point shot, although that one did not fall for her.
This time she steps in for a floater and misses it. Offensive rebound and the putback. Rennia Davis has a game-high 25, and Tennessee leads by 2 possessions again.
For anyone watching the entire game, I don't think anyone would have expected that Rennia Davis would have been the talk as far as points, leading scorer. Rae Burrell was doing everything in the first half. Rennia Davis has stepped up quickly.
Missouri getting late in the shot clock again. It has been a battle every trip for the Tigers down the stretch. Troop through contact, can't hit it. Duffy on the offensive glass with a putback. Timeout, Missouri. Shannon Duffy has had to battle all night against much bigger players on the interior. That's only her 3rd rebound of the night, but she has found one way after another to impact this game, and that's a massive bucket for Missouri. Rennia Davis getting one massive bucket after another for Tennessee.
You can tell they are battling for these rebounds. They are battling for possessions. 2 offensive rebounds in a row, back-to-back. Missouri not had a lot of offensive rebounds at all this game. Tennessee has had 18 offensive rebounds this game, and that has been the story as of late in this 3rd and 4th quarter.
Tennessee has those 18 offensive rebounds. Missouri only has 18 defensive rebounds. It's been 50-50 when the rebound goes up on Missouri's defensive end of the floor.
And this has been a story where the 2 teams, it's a close game doing very different things. Missouri is losing the rebound battle significantly, but obviously winning the 3-point battle very significantly. And it is a miracle that Missouri is only down 3, being out-rebounded by 20 rebounds. But they are sticking to what they do best, while Tennessee is sticking to what they do best. And it's no surprise here that we have a 3-point game with under a minute to go.
What Tennessee does best all season and tonight has been Davis and Burrell, in addition to that rebounding. Get the ball off the glass and then get it to one of those 2. Second highest scoring average as a duo in the SEC at better than 36 a game, and they have 48 tonight. Davis tried to split the double and lost it. Turnover by Davis, and Missouri has it back inside 40 seconds.
Going to be really important for Missouri to execute and keep the ball on their side of the court and not turn it over in crunch time. That has been something that they have not been able to do, is execute down the stretch.
Foul given by Blackwell after Haley Troop having a career night. Just missed a layup that in the end was pretty much wide open by the time she got inside, and that could be a backbreaker for Mizzou.
That was an unfortunate miss. It was the right play. It was a good look. She hasn't had many misses like that all game, so that one does hurt for them. They have an opportunity here. We'll see if they foul right away. Go for the steal.
Missouri has been called for 3 team fouls so far in the 4th quarter, so they still have 1 left to give. The Tigers will have to foul twice to put Tennessee at the free throw line, where the Lady Vols have not missed tonight, 6 for 6. Inbound to Davis, and she's bumped immediately by Lauren Hansen. Not even a second came off the clock. Rae Burrell is inbounding, which is interesting because she's one of Tennessee's best free throw shooters. Davis, though, is the best. She's been hot in the second half, and Davis will go to the free throw line. The good news for Missouri is only 1.8 combined seconds came off the clock in giving those 2 fouls. The bad news is Davis is having the second half of her life and has hit all 3 free throws tonight, is an 82% shooter for the year.
Yeah, that's not who you want to see on the line is Rennia Davis. If you're Missouri, Coach Harper in Tennessee did a good job, though. You can tell on that sideline out of bounds play that Davis was the only one flashing to the ball, not really giving Missouri an opportunity to foul anyone else.
That's a big miss, potentially. Davis, these last couple possessions, has turned it over and now missed the first of 2 free throws, but this is still a big one to come for her to make it, at least for the moment, a 2-possession game.
To your point with free throws, Nate, I think another reason that Missouri's been able to stay in this game is the fact that they only have 9 turnovers.
Davis got a lot of the rim on that one, but in the end gets it to drop, and it's a 77-73 Tennessee lead. Had Haley Troop been able to make that layup, the pressure would have really been on the Lady Vols in ensuring this would be a 1-possession game. As it is, Robin Pingeton uses her final timeout to advance the basketball, and that will allow Missouri to immediately get into some kind of half-court offense. But Jordan, we've talked about it before, specifically in the game against Arkansas and in the game against Kentucky. Missouri really struggled to run these sets effectively late on in ball games when they're coming down to the wire in a close one and needing to execute. This has been a weak point for the Tigers this year.
This has been a weak point for the Tigers, and I think Coach Pingeton knows that this is a new team as far as new players, transfers, younger players. They're still gaining that chemistry, they're still building that maturity, but they have certainly had enough practice throughout the course of the season, not just in practice, but in real-life game situations where they have been in these positions plenty of times. So we'll see here what they have learned and what they have gathered from being in these positions, and hopefully being able to execute.
If you were Robin Pingeton, what's your play?
I am either taking Shug Dixon off a down screen in the middle of the paint towards the top of the key for a 3, or I'm setting a double high ball screen, driving to the lane, looking for Haley Frank or another shooter on the baseline. They don't necessarily need a 3 right away, but I think that with the way they have shot the ball from 3, it's not a bad option at all. You can see all the players on the court right now very capable of shooting the 3. You've got Lauren Hansen, Shug Dixon, Shannon Duffy. I would like to see who she's going to send off a screen coming to shoot the 3, or if she'll trust a player like Lauren Hansen, who is so good at creating her own shot to get the ball and make something happen.
Shug Dixon to trigger on a critical possession for Missouri. Blackwell working for it. Instead, it's Hansen. Frank comes free for a moment, wants a 3. Missed it badly. Tennessee the rebound. Horston nearly lost it, but she's fouled by Duffy, and Tennessee might have sealed it. A couple of more free throws would just about do it for the Lady Vols.
Haley Frank there got a decent look. She came off a couple down screens that looked like on the right side of the court. She scored off of that play, or a play similar to it, several times tonight. This one was defended a lot better than in the past, with more urgency from Tennessee. Obviously couldn't get it to fall. A little bit too much time came off the clock before that shot went off, in my opinion, but nevertheless, they did get a decent shot off.
So 12.7 seconds to go, and it's Horston to shoot 2 free throws. She's a 72% shooter on the year, has not attempted one tonight. An impressive skill to step up to the line for the first time all evening in crunch time and not even graze the rim. Credit to Rae Burrell as well, who has not made a massive impact since she's returned with the rolled ankle she suffered late in the third quarter. You can see her moving not too great there as she got in the lane, but gutsy performance from her even to come back onto the floor at all. Dixon the other way to Frank, goes over Walker, offensive foul, and the Lady Vols are going to escape Columbia with a big win to stay on that 3-seed line and get themselves another step closer to a top 4 seed and a double bye in the SEC tournament. Kelly Harper calls timeout to advance the ball, but with 6.8 seconds to go, you would think it's all academic now for Tennessee.
Absolutely. This is a huge win for Tennessee when, in terms of what they are trying to do in the postseason, they needed this win badly. As far as Missouri goes, this is another story of a close loss to a very good opponent. If anything, it gives them the confidence and the belief that they could play with anyone. They still have an opportunity to make some noise in the SEC tournament. They know they can play with big-time opponents. It's just a matter of executing down the stretch and maintaining, doing what they do well for the entirety of a game, as opposed to just 3 or 3.5 quarters.
Meanwhile, I don't know if you would fully say that Tennessee is back just because of the lofty heights that this program is used to. But in year 2 of Kelly Harper, it seems impossible to deny now that the Lady Vols are 100% on the right track of where they need to be going. And they will get a win, their 4th straight over Missouri, their 12th in 15 meetings all time between these two schools. Jordan, if there's any solace for Missouri, it's that the SEC tournament is a level playing field, and regardless of what their resume is, if you win the SEC tournament, you go. So you always have a chance down to the final game.
Absolutely, Nate. They will have the opportunity to build on what they have done recently, which is shoot the 3 ball well. They took care of the ball tonight with only 10 turnovers. Obviously, did not win the rebounding battle, but they are having players step up. Balanced scoring, Shannon Duffy, 10 points. Shook Dixon, 10 points. Asia Blackwell, 16. Haley Frank with 9 points. They are having players score all across the board, doing big things. LaDeja Williams has been hurt, a little bit beat up, but Shannon Duffy has been stepping up. So they do have some time to peak at the right time and make some noise in this SEC tournament.
So for our producer, Sean Van Beesler, my partner, Jordan Roundtree, and the rest of our fantastic SEC Network crew, I'm Nate Gatter saying so long from Missouri, where the final score once again is Tennessee 78 and Missouri 73. Be sure to tune in to the SEC Network on Sunday as Tennessee hosts Auburn at 2 Eastern, followed by Missouri's visit to Starkville to take on Mississippi State at 4 Eastern. This has been a presentation of ESPN.